on the occasion of his 51st cap. So the scene all set. We keep our fingers crossed that the rain stays off. We're about to have the anthems. We'll have Ireland's call. Before that, then the Irish anthem, and first of all the anthem of our visitors here to Lansdowne Road on this pretty chilly Saturday evening in November, Argentina. Agustin Pichot leading his side today for the 11th time, and there's a familiar face right at the end, Freddie Mendes, who made his debut here as a teenager in 1990. Well, a fair bit of support for the Pumas here. Well, they do like an anthem, the Argentinians. The singer today, incidentally, is Derek Maloney, who's from Garryowen in Limerick. And now the Irish anthem. Driscoll leading this Irish team for the 18th time in a major international. And Ireland's call. Well, the Irish mascot, the Irish Terrier Brock, in attendance as ever, and Argentina already stripped off. The Irish team just divesting themselves of their tracksuit tops, and time to bring in former Irish skipper Philip Matthews. It has been said that, I suppose hindsight's a great thing, having got South Africa out of the way, but this was always perhaps going to be the toughest game of the three.
Yes, and the conditions seem tailor-made for Argentina as well, because as the drizzle just starts to come down, there's a little bit of a breeze left to right as we look at this, as we look at the pitch, both teams lining out, and I guess an awful lot will depend on how the set pieces go. Argentina, if anybody, would be the world set piece specialist, particularly their scrum. They love to scrum, and they'll really be looking to unsettle this Irish side at set piece time, and conversely that's when Ireland really want to attack from, so it's going to be an interesting game.
Well, the man who officiated in the National Stadium, or the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff last week, Tony Spreadbury, a frequent visitor here to Lansdowne Road, is in charge today. His touch judges from France, Joel Juge, and from Italy, Giulio De Santis. And it's Ireland who have won the toss and have decided to receive the kick-off, and the kick-off is a man who's played a fair old bit at Lansdowne Road since he joined Leinster last year, Felipe Contepomi, playing against Ireland for the 6th occasion. Played against them in the past 2 World Cups, so here we go, Ireland against Argentina. The last 4 games have been 2 apiece, 1 win each in the World Cups in '99. And again last year, Johnny O'Connor, restored to the Irish side, shook off a little leg injury in the middle of the week. Ronan O'Gara under a little bit of pressure, might just have come off an Argentinian hand there, and that's going to be an opening scrummage to Irish. So the first little rub of the green to the Irish. I think they'll take every single rub of the green they can get this evening.
Well, they will, but it's interesting, Felipe Contepomi, I guess, playing against his 2 club mates in the midfield, both Shane Horgan and Brian O'Driscoll. He'll have briefed his brother pretty well in terms of what to look out for, so let's look out for that today.
It was a great take by Ireland. That was a forward pass from Ronan O'Gara to his Munster teammate Anthony Foley, the first man to reach the 50 cap mark in terms of Heineken Cup appearances. Nice weighted pass, but Foley just took it a little bit too early, and that's given the advantage back to the Pumas and the area in which they seem to specialise. This is a very strong Puma side, understandably unchanged from the one that defeated the French in Marseille, and that's never happened before last week. They have a very formidable front row, 11 of the team, and 7 of the 8 forwards ply their professional trade in France. The front row men from Stade Francais, Castres and Toulouse, and they love their scrums. Rodrigo Ronchero, Stade Francais, loose head. Quite sure whether he's going to be playing against Ulster next week in the Heineken Cup. That's a collapsed scrum to start with. Tony Spreadbury not happy with that.
There's a very compact unit, this Argentinian front row, similar height, weight, unlike this Irish front row, or you might say a little bit lopsided, with a big John Hayes at tight head.
Ireland have wheeled them right round as that gone through 90 degrees. The pick up and drive by the Pumas. Good piece of tackling by Malcolm O'Kelly. In goes Pichot, the skipper. O'Connor tries to put the hit in. That was a Mario Ledesma, another vastly experienced campaigner. Pichot, little sniping run. That was O'Driscoll with the tackle. Good start by the Pumas. They've set the ball up well, picking up where they left off against the French. An attempted kick into the corner. Tony Spreadbury, I think, may well have awarded a penalty, and he has done. And this is going to be meat and drink to the Argentinians.
Yeah, so maybe a little sign of things to come. Pichot is truly a world-class scrum half, and he'll look to exploit any kind of looseness around the set pieces, but also around the fringe of rucks and moles, looking to bring his back row and his big forwards into the game, because it has to be said that I guess the feeling is that if Ireland can achieve at least parity up front, that their 3/4 are probably a little bit more talent than they have in the Argentinian 3/4, should win the day, but it's not really the game plan that Argentina are looking for, and they'll look to really dominate this Irish 8.
So this first floodlit game at Lansdowne Road for about 6 years. Argentina looking to open their account through their outside half, Felipe Contepomi. Good solid contact. Excellent kick. Not the start the Irish wanted, but Mr. Senor Lofreda, the Argentinian coach, will be more than happy with that. That's nicely struck straight between the posts, and quite a few Pumas flags being flown there on the terrace side of the Lansdowne Road end at this, the oldest international rugby ground in the world. Restart by Ronan O'Gara. That's plenty of height for his forwards. That's well taken in by Martin Durand, one of the try scorers against the French last week. Pichot, got to Pomey.
Wait.
4 Irishmen on him. He hasn't found his touch. Great covering in the classic number 8 manner by Anthony Foley. He'll certainly have a cut. Attempted tackle was by Lucas Borges.
Stay.
Dennis Hickey's gone to scrum half. Now it's Stringer. O'Gara. That's hanging. Oh, that's a wicked kick. O'Driscoll, the skipper's underneath. Wonderful take that was by Hernandez, the fullback. Plies his trade with that Stade Francais. Pichot. Gone to Pomey. Got himself into trouble. But plenty of blue and white shirts there. The heavyweight Argentinian pack there in numbers. Good control at that breakdown. Hernandez. Going to be an Irish throw. Nice look of efficiency about this Puma side thus far.
Yeah, so just a bit of a territorial play by both outcasts, by both Contepommi and O'Gara, just kind of sounding things out at the moment. Another key area of the line-outs. Ireland, if anything, might feel that they might have the edge, particularly with Easterby at 6. Once this breeze doesn't stop Shane McByrne reaching the tail of the line-out.
Well, there is a little bit of a breeze. It's hard to say who it's favouring at the moment. It varies so much at Lansdowne Road because it's such an open stadium. Stringer, Shane Horgan got across that gain line importantly. Duran was the man with the tackle. Oh, that's come back in the Pumas side. That's a bad turnover. This is good stuff from the Pumas. Manuel Contepommi. Oh, this is going to be a try. Adam Boudou right between the posts, and Ireland really paid the error for a turnover ball, and they were punished by the Pumas. It was also very simple, and just in the manner of the French, who can beat you from just about anywhere given half a chance. That's exactly what the Pumas have done.
Well, if Ireland didn't think they were in the game at the start, they certainly know about it now. But can they turn this around? That was the turnover ball, and like any side, so vulnerable when you're attacking and you turn the ball over. You're really not lined up defensively. You tend to be very flat, so easy to get in behind, and that was very easy.
Well, the pass was straightforward. Paul O'Connell just half impeded. I don't think he was going to get to Federico Martin. Adam Boudou, and it's his outside half Felipe Contepommi for the extra points. And all of a sudden this is turning into something of a calamitous start for the Irish. We haven't played 6 minutes and they're 10 points adrift. It came from turnover ball. The referee looked like he was going to award a penalty, and Manuel Contepommi, a little stop and a great burst of acceleration, and 2 despairing Irish tackles weren't good enough.
Well, this Irish attitude isn't right. It's very difficult to turn it around on the pitch. They're really going to have to dig deep and show the discipline to get themselves back into this game.
Johnny O'Connor challenging, pulled in by Martin Durand. Once again, good efficient work at the breakdown by the Pumas. Felipe Contepommi, delightful kick.
Contepommi quite more than happy just to find his touch. He's not looking to move it out of defence. So that for Ronan O'Gara, he'll be taking note of that. So he'll going to want to use those long diagonals so they can play for position. Be quite happy with the line-out. This is a good attacking situation for Ireland.
Tony Spreadbury making sure that Ireland come up to the line and that a metre is observed between the respective line-outs. Byrne, good stuff. That was Easterby. O'Gara, now Horgan. O'Gara again. Nice miss move. Dennis Hickey puts the foot on the gas. Plenty of blue and white cover there. Quickly by Ireland. Stringer, O'Gara, Paul O'Connell. Good driving by the Irish pack. Quickly won. O'Driscoll puts them under pressure, but the line out is going to be given to the Argentinians.
It is, but again Ireland looking to attack from the set pieces. That's when they feel they've got more space, got a little bit more time, and looking to get somebody like Dennis Hickey one-on-one. They always fancy their chances against this Argentinian three-quarter line. Argentina cutting the line out.
Yeah, that's an interesting defensive line out. A couple of big men in there. Alberchetti, number 5, taken at the front though by Gonzalo Longo, hugely experienced.
3, leave it, 3, go back, 3.
Johnny O'Connor out quickly. That's good pressuring by the Irish open side flanker, and that was a real hash of a clearance kick by the Pumas. So Ireland's chance now to do something.
There's a time off. 1 and 3, your guards shift back. Don't go in front of the ball, and you, okay? That's it, time on. Go on, Linda.
Once again, Tony Spreadbury being justifiably fussy about the spacing at the line-out. Shane Byrne, today winning his 33rd cap for Ireland. Bad throw, Durant couldn't hold. O'Connell ploys through, that's well won on the ground by Ireland. Stringer, still a chance here. Lovely stuff by O'Driscoll. Dennis Hickey, good covering tackle. O'Driscoll has to back him up. Stringer there quickly. Now O'Gara, not the greatest pass in the world, well picked up by Shane Byrne. The tackle was by Alvarez. Stringer, O'Gara, drop it, goal. Wonderfully struck by O'Gara.
Well, that's what Ireland need to do. Every time they get into the Argentinian half, they just need to come away with points. 3 points on that occasion. Again, once it's gone into second phase, the Argentinian defence was so flat. Very, very difficult for Ireland to see a way through. So O'Gara just drops back, takes the 3-point opportunity. That was well struck.
It's going to go straight into touch, one thinks. Touch judge on the far side, I think just took his time about that and said to Tony Spreadbury that was straight into touch. Ireland have the option of receiving the kick again. They can also take the line out, but the preferred option is the scrummage.
Well, restarts have become such an important part of the game these days, particularly when teams really need to strike back after a score, and much better to take the certainty of a scrum ball and maybe the 50-50 chance, or even 60-70 or 60-30 of securing it yourself.
Ireland's first scrummage, Reggie Corrigan, now 34 years of age, on the Irish loosehead side. Well away by Stringer. It was actually a better pick-up from O'Gara than it was a pass from Stringer, to be totally fair. Hernandez, well taken by O'Gara. Dennis Hickey had covered back at full-back. Got himself into a little bit of trouble, but he set it up. Stringer, now O'Gara. Nailed by Australia. Penalty against Ireland. Holding on the tackle, and this looks pretty kickable.
Yeah, well, Dennis Hickey just been penalised for holding on there. Everything was a little bit static. There were very few Irish players behind him supporting him just to get any momentum going into that ruck, and he must have just held on to secure it. Fortunately, that gives Contepomi a chance just to neutralise the O'Gara drop goal. It's not what he wanted.
Strange sort of an atmosphere. Everybody we're looking for a real rollicking, rumbustious sort of an atmosphere here, but it's all gone very quiet, and that's mainly because Ireland are on the receiving end at the moment, and it could be even quieter if this kick goes over to restore that 10-point gap in favour of the Pumas. Straight in front of the post, no wind worth talking about. Contepomi doesn't miss them too many times, so the Pumas have now got themselves well into double figures. It's Ireland 3 and Argentina 13, and we've played something in the region of 11.5 minutes, and Ireland have got to come back straight away.
They have, and in the past Argentinian sides might have been feared in Buenos Aires, so to speak, but would have been a little bit more vulnerable away from home. But this Argentinian side has proved that wrong with that win in France. They've come here with a lot of confidence.
Bit longer by O'Gara. Well secured by the Pumas. T-shot, Contepomi. Nicely struck.
I'm a little bit surprised that Contepomi isn't trying to move some of those just to keep Ireland and Ronan O'Gara guessing. It's going to make it quite easy for Ireland just to push that ball deep into territory and play for the line-out just on around about the 10-yard, which is where they find themselves now. I think if that does play out and continue, if Contepomi continues just to go for those touches, it's going to give Ireland a lot of the territorial advantage.
Byrne, well taken by Malcolm O'Kelly. Ireland have lost that one. Referee played the advantage from the Irish knock forward. That's a wicked kick. Underneath it is Jordan Murphy. Shane Byrne does the covering. O'Driscoll bounces out of a tackle, gets himself caught. Pumas are really ploughing forward. They've turned it over again. This is not a good display by the Irish pack. Great chance now for Argentina. That was Alvarez, took it forward into the 22. Durant going forward, looking for a second try in successive games. Ledesma came hurtling in there for the Pumas. P-shot, Felipe Contepomi, little show of the ball. Good tackle by Anthony Foley, who's trying to get out of the way. P-shot, Ledesma. O'Connell made the tackle. Here come the Pumas again. Albochetti tries to set it up. Longo is in there too. This is terrific forward play by the Pumas. And they've laid it back nicely. No options on the near side. They may well have to go open. Contepomi with a Ronan O'Gara attempted a drop goal. Unfortunately for Ireland, he's pushed that well wide. Ireland will get the 22. And you've got to be impressed with the way the Pumas are not just controlling this ball, but preventing Ireland from doing anything, and indeed robbing Ireland.
Well, they're winning all the 50-50 balls because they're just that little bit sharper. You can see the way they're supporting each other, the way they're hitting rucks and mauls. They're just that little bit more committed, and I guess at this level, even 2 or 3%, 5% in terms of commitment, a little bit more is going to make a huge amount of difference. It's going to win those 50-50 balls. And Argentina just within a whisker of extending a 10-point lead, a 16-3 it would have been.
They're pretty tough, I think, is what we're going to say. Well taken in there by Felipe Contepomi, who's enjoying his day. Awful Irish tackling. Contepomi's still there, gets away from Foley. Wonderful support play by Lucas Borges, and the ball went forward. And Felipe Contepomi, against so many players whom he knows so well from his time here currently at Leinster, is bamboozling the Irish defence. Got away from 1, 2 and 3 would-be Irish tacklers and offloaded it nicely, but the pass was forward. Tough times for Ireland.
Just stand back. Shut up. Concentrate on your own game. That's fine. Question, hold, engage. Go on.
Stringer's got to get this in quickly. Argentina not allowing the Irish front five to settle. Shane Burns complaining.
Square and steady. Question, hold, engage.
That definitely is a free against Argentina. There's Anthony Foley, little tap and drive. We've got to let him go 10 metres. Better from Ireland, and goes Stringer. Paul O'Connell. Durand with the tackle. Ireland need this quickly. Argentina have slowed it down. Simon Easterby. Ireland still behind that gain line. Stringer, now Driscoll the captain. Dennis Hickey. Just taken down when he was about to put Bud to ball. Still there for the Irish though. Nudged forward by Ireland, and a scrum to Argentina. We've played something in the region of 16 minutes. Ireland trailing by 10 points. Had Dennis Hickey just been able to get away, or even get his foot to that.
Fine, boys. Thank you.
And that, I presume, does constitute a knock forward, because he threw it up and then didn't make the kick.
Exactly. Ireland just seem to want more time than Argentina are affording them with ball in hand. Just means that Ireland really aren't as sharp as they should be. You need that kind of healthy fear and respect for your opposition, and it just doesn't seem to be there at the moment. Maybe a little bit of overconfidence or complacency, but they've got a real struggle. The struggle really is in their own minds, as well as against this Argentinian outfit, just to get that sharpness back into this game ahead of half-time.
Well, this is what the Pumas love doing most of all, and that's scrummaging. Omar Hassan on the tight head side, now 33 years of age, close to his 50th cap. Here they come on the narrow side. Longo well taken down. The busy Durand was taken over from Rolando Martin and Santiago Phelan, two great Argentinian flankers of yesteryear. Johnny O'Connor's got himself hurt. Touch judge in the near side, Joel Juge, has got his flag out for something he's not happy with, and Tony Spreadbury spotted it, and this might well be a penalty.
Time off, please. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Bad reflex of Argentina player.
Okay, number?
I don't think I see this player.
Okay, yep. 5. 23.
Gus Tayshot's going to be called over. One of his players has
got on the floor last out with his feet, either way.
Bit of a silly piece of unnecessary kicking, which has given Ireland the penalty. And one wonders, will this galvanise Ireland into something, Philip, because they're not really playing anything like the way they did against the South Africans, certainly not with the same urgency. Might just be able to see that again. Well, Johnny O'Connor, yeah. It was Durand, I think, the flanker had a kick at him, or perhaps it was even Albochetti, the second row. Just spotted Mario Ledesma having a word with the touch judge, who drew the referee's attention to that. Coming up to the end of the first quarter, Ireland trailing by 10 points. Just no more to Ireland, well pulled in by Malcolm O'Kelly. Slight breeze just drifted that away from Simon Easterby initially.
tag. Stay there, go.
I think has given the penalty against Argentina for slowing it down. I'm sure Gonzalo Longo was well offside. Tony Spreadbury. Yes, pretty straightforward. Mario Ledesma being told in no uncertain terms that he was slowing it down. And there seems to be a little bit of needle going on between Omar Hassan and Reggie Corrigan, apart from what they get up to in the front row.
Number 2, shift.
Bit of a breeze has sprung up actually, and it's maybe blowing into the Irish faces ever so slightly.
Yes, it's giving a slight advantage to Argentina, but that's to say it hasn't influenced this game so far. But this is where Ireland, this visit to the Argentinian 22, they really do need to come away with points. They struggled a little bit to get good, clean and consistent line-out balls, so they need to secure that first. Argentina so far have been very effective at disrupting the set pieces and really not enabled Ireland to get any kind of rhythm at all so far.
Well, we've been very lucky with the weather. The predicted downpour hasn't arrived. There's a fine mist is coming down, making the ball a little bit on the slippery side. Well taken to the back by O'Kelly. Stringer, this is more like it. O'Gara. Hickey came in from the wing. He stood on his feet. He's got good support from Shane Horgan. Plenty of big, beefy Irish forwards in there. The beefiest of all, John Hayes, goes in. Argentina hanging on.
Leave it, Argentina. Leave it.
Tony Spreadbury telling the Pumas to leave the ball alone.
Use it.
But they've slowed it down. Stringer simply can't get it away. Now to O'Gara. Drop goal number 2, is it? No, it's not. Pushed it wide.
Well, if you're disappointed with that, because that was a gilt-edged opportunity, if not for the 3 points, for something else, maybe just shows a little bit of lack of confidence. This Argentinian defence looked to have the measure so far of Ireland, but O'Gara deciding to drop back and instead go for the 3-pointer. That's the second time he's done that. 1 for 2.
Well, it's worth noting that Ireland are placed number 6 in the current IRB rating, just ahead of Argentina. If the Pumas could win this, they might even go ahead of Ireland. Jordan Murphy has overcooked that one. First chance he's really got. And there was some considerable debate, I'm quite sure, about where to employ Jordan Murphy, but with Gordon Darcy, player of the Six Nations last year, injured, then Ireland have used Murphy on the wing with Horgan in the centre.
We'll sort it out. Yeah, it's fine, we'll sort it out. He's doing his legs, relax. Stay there, boys. Stay there.
Malcolm O'Kelly closing down on the all-time Irish record held by the great Ulsterman Mike Gibson.
Away, tackler, move! Stay!
Good efficient stuff by the Pumas yet again from the set piece.
That's fine.
There's the pick-up and drive. That's good work in defence by Reggie Corrigan in particular. John Hayes gets in there too, and Easterby. Ireland have held him up, but the Pumas have got the ball. Felipe Contepomi.
Stay.
It's going to fall outside the 22. Great take by Jordan Murphy. Got himself absolutely clattered in that. Plenty of green shirts there. Stringer gets back. Brian O'Driscoll. Not the greatest clearance kick in the world by the Irish skipper. And there's been a penalty against the Pumas.
Yes, whoever came in and challenged Gervin Dempsey in the air, just penalised. That's the other Contepomi, Manuel Contepomi. I think if you see that again, he'll feel that he's a little bit unlucky, but he made contact when Dempsey was in the air, so no argument.
Okay, listen, it's a penalty. Go steady, right, go.
Well, I think everybody in Lansdowne Road is saying well done, spreaders. Given the penalty to Ireland, you are not allowed to tackle the man when he's in the air. He's got to have himself firmly rooted to the ground before the tackle can be put in. Well, it was Jordan Murphy who went up well. Yeah, there was definitely contact there. I'm not sure how much malice there was, but Jordan Murphy could have actually come down very awkwardly. Shane Horgan. O'Kelly, all 6'8" of him. Stringer. O'Gara. Foley's right through. That's a wonderful angle. He needs a bit of help. Good change of pace by Foley. Johnny O'Connor. If he'd got that away, O'Driscoll might have been in. Play on, says the referee. Advantage going to Ireland. I think there might have been a deliberate knock forward there. Here's Stringer. O'Gara. Cross kick. Here comes Hickey. Duran's underneath it. Well taken by by Paul O'Connell and by Dennis Hickey. Wonderful angle by Anthony Foley to set up that initial thrust, and Johnny O'Connor been able to get the pass away to O'Driscoll. Ireland's skipper might well have been in for try number 26.
Well, it was perfect timing, because Anthony Foley himself would say he's not the quickest man on the team, but he just timed that to perfection.
Yeah.
Beautiful little sidestep as well. Johnny O'Connor just couldn't get that ball away, but there's the man again, just to keep the movement going. And from that, Ireland get themselves into a great situation. Line out just on the Argentinian 5-metre line.
Clever kick by O'Gara, wasn't it?
Yes, that's an oft-used ploy these days, isn't it? The kick to the wing. And with big men like Shane Horgan out there, or Dennis Hickey, you'd really fancy your chances.
Signs that Ireland are very much back in this game, but we played some 25 minutes and the score is as it was after some 12 minutes. It's Ireland 3 and Argentina 13.
You okay? Okay, good.
Argentina have a man down injured. I think it might be Hernan Senioza, the wing three-quarter.
Okay. Thank you.
Indeed it is. There's not much to him. They haven't had too much to cheer about. This capacity crowd here at Lansdowne Road.
Off we go, please. Off we go. Off we go.
So great chance this for Ireland. Certainly their best of this half so far. They need to start turning this possession and positional dominance into points. Horgan, O'Connell, bit of a fumble, it went backward. Still there for the Irish, and again it's all been slowed down by the Pumas. Stringer, Reggie Corrigan had to go to ground. Pumas up very quickly, that's been turned over. Somebody came in from the side just as well, because Ireland lost that.
That was a very quick steal by Argentina. Anthony Horgan just taking the ball up, going to ground, and it just plucked away from him like a candy from a baby very, very quickly.
So Brad O'Driscoll, has he decided to ask O'Gara to put it into touch? Indeed he has. And I reckon that they might just be edged in the scrum, but certainly their line out would appear to be that bit superior. All depends, of course, on Shane Burns throwing. 23.5 minutes almost played.
Push over.
So once again, it's an Ireland line out within 5 metres, or not within 5 metres, exactly 5 metres from the Argentinian line. Easterby, nicely done. Corrigan. Paul O'Connell looking for his 4th international try. He can't quite get over. Great pressure by the Irish. Stringer. O'Gara has a go himself. Wonderful defence by the Pumas. Dennis Hickey is in there, and O'Driscoll. Ireland have options on both sides if they can win the ball. And they have lost it. Well, Eddie O'Sullivan will not be at all happy with that. They went into that situation in possession and they've lost the ball, and Brian O'Driscoll is just losing his temper and his composure a little bit.
Well, that's just pure frustration. They can't believe that they've lost that. They've been turned over yet again, and I have to say that the Argentinian play at ruck time has been excellent.
Everybody, it's getting the first 15 minutes have been fantastic with speed rugby. Now it's all going downhill, right? Let's all stay on your feet. When I say leave it, don't go in there, okay? Right? And then we're going to get overreactions, okay? So please, scrum it down, your ball. Yeah, go. Right, scrum, your ball. Not to hit like they do, no. Don't pull in the hair as well, all right?
Tony Spreadby obviously unhappy with the way Brian O'Driscoll went in and hit that ruck, and he's told Ireland's captain just to calm himself down. Big scrum this. Can Ireland put any pressure on the Pumas put in? A little bit. Good solid stuff. Pick up from the back by Gonzalo Longo for the Pumas, just to set up a little bit of space. Well marshalled defence by the Pumas. That ball is wonderfully well protected. Contepomi, Stringer on top of him, but he gets it away. And how crucial a turnover was that in the great scheme of things?
Well, it's crucial and very significant as well, and it just shows, I guess, that Argentina are just that little bit sharper when it comes to those 50-50 situations. They won pretty well all of them so far, and that's really what stopped Ireland getting any further points on the board. They come close a couple of times, but every time Argentina have just got the turnover. Also, you just felt from that last line they might have just taken the ball on with the forwards a little bit more.
O'Kelly, Stringer, O'Gara, O'Driscoll. Dennis Hickey had come across to cover, having come into the line. Argentina kicked that through quite legally. Back goes Murphy, and that's going to be an Argentinian throw, and the Pumas are much sharper at this stage.
They are, and also Ireland just don't seem to be playing with the confidence as well. They're certainly not as sharp as they should be, and they it's almost as if they sense that, and they don't feel that they can pull off what they should be pulling off. They should be an awful lot more assured of their set pieces, an awful lot more confidence with ball in hand, and just supporting each other a little bit tighter as well. Just a few gaps beginning to appear, a few cracks.
Come on.
Ledesma told to get it in. That's not very untidy, but Argentina, after a couple of little bounces and bobbles, have secured it. Ledesma sets it up for Pichot. At the moment, you'd have to rate Agustin Pichot as probably the world's #1 in this particular position. Nicely laid back by the Pumas again. Good discipline. Contepomi, terrific kick. He is playing very well.
He's been out playing Ronan O'Gara so far. He's drifted past Ronan O'Gara at least once. He's made his tackles, and he's also playing a good territorial game, because of Argentina, he recognises if anything got the upper hand at the moment, so he can just play a much more patient game, play for the territory, keep Ireland pinned back and make them play the game out of their own 22.
Shane Horgan for Ireland, who've shortened the line out. Ooh, that's dangerous stuff. Back goes Easterby. O'Kelly got a hand to it, but Easterby's had to go down and tidy. He's done a pretty good job for the Irish. O'Gara, now under pressure, that is a fantastic kick.
Yeah, it was great pressure relieving kick, bringing Ireland outside their own 22, but still pressure onto Ireland. There's no way he was going to be able to run that one out and keep ball in hand. It's exactly what Argentina want. Gives them a good attacking option. It's a great place to attack from, just outside the 22.
Well, having soaked up about 10 or 12 minutes of constant Irish pressure, the last thing Ireland really want is for the Pumas to score again before half-time. They've got the ball to start with. Here goes Ronchero, the loose head prop. As tight head Hassan is in there. O'Kelly comes through wildly. Here comes Ledesma. Gets away from the initial tackle. Pichot, the skipper. Contepomi. Maybe going straight in. Yes, it is. And again, a let-off for Ireland. That's a rare error by this fella, who's looked very, very assured and very accomplished and confident all afternoon. Knows he just overdid that a little bit. Tony Spreadbury telling Argentina they've got to have the same number of players in the line-out. Ireland have cut it to 4. Byrne just delays. O'Kelly nicely. Stringer. O'Gara. It's better stuff. Foley. Quicker ball for Ireland. Poor pass by Stringer. O'Gara. Well taken by O'Driscoll. That's forward. It's not going right for Brian O'Driscoll today.
It's not going right for any Irish three-quarters at all. I think they do fancy their chances against this Argentina backline, but you've got to do the hard stuff first. You've got to clear those bodies away. You've got to set up good, quick second phase ball. And Ireland all the time trying to attack from what is not good ball. And even against a reasonable defence, or a good defence like this Argentinian one is, you're not going to break through.
Good Pumas scrum Longo. Pichot. Felipe Contepomi. Try scorer Adam Buru. Oh, here comes Juan Martin Hernandez, the fullback. And again, Ireland's first up tackling is a little bit slipshod. Pichot. Contepomi, cleverly done. It was a big gap there, well covered by Paul O'Connell. Strong enough to hold off 2 Pumas. O'Driscoll has gone in to help. O'Gara. But this sort of a game is going to suit Argentina, and the rain is just starting to get a little bit thicker, and there's definitely a wind blowing into the Irish faces, but if it stays like that, at least they'll have it in the second half. Coming up to half an hour played, 10 points between them. We haven't had a score for some 18 or 19 minutes.
Go ball quicker as well, right? You can. A bit quicker than that. Yeah. No, don't say so.
Tony Spreadbury just telling Shane Byrne in a very nice way, let's have the ball in quicker on your line out. That was Longo, took it for the Pumas.
No, he's 5. 6, lead him!
Pichot trying to have one of his trademark little darts in the narrow side. He had Ledesma there in support. Still there for the Pumas. Thumping tackle on Rimas Alvarez.
Leave it, stay.
Good control by Argentina. Contepomi. Just about vertical. In went Foley.
Hang on. He's on the ground, isn't he? me. All right, so we can't take it. Right. First scrum, green ball, first knock on. All right, no problem. First knock on. He's on the ground. Yeah, you're good.
He's enjoying himself, Tony Spreadbury.
Yeah, he does like to talk, doesn't he? Which is the modern way, I guess, for referees, and players do appreciate that. They do appreciate, particularly at breakdown situations when a ruck is there and they need to get the hands away. It does make for a much more freer flowing game.
Well, wait there. Come over.
Yeah, in the old days, if you did something wrong, you just got penalised, and that was it.
Yeah, no warning at all.
Hang on, you can't put it. No, that's fine. Right.
The president of the GAA, Sean Kelly, at Lansdowne Road. Nice to see him here. One wonders, will we see the president of the Irish Rugby Football Union at Croke Park in the not too distant future?
3 green, bind on. Square up. Fresh and hold, engage.
Haven't been too many scrums in this game.
Come on, lads,
a lot of pressure coming on from Omar Hassan, the Toulouse tight head prop against Reggie Corrigan. This is a very formidable Argentinian front row. They're all playing top-class rugby in France at Stade Francais, Castres and Toulouse. Free kick against the Pumas. Here goes Foley again. Longo wasn't back 10 metres by any stretch of the imagination. Stringer. Paul O'Connell with a nice little dummy into Felipe Contepomi, something of an uneven contest. Ireland need the ball, however. Now they've got it. This is Stringer, O'Gara, O'Driscoll, given no room at all. The two Puma centres on him like a pair of Jack Russells. Stringer, Dempsey at outside half, runs into the formidable Ronchero. Still there for the Irish. Shane Horgan all on his own. O'Driscoll piles in again, has to be careful. Now Stringer, O'Gara, Murphy. Ireland trying to put a bit of width on it. That's nicely done. Malcolm O'Kelly, Martin Durand. The Pumas have come in the side and Tony Spreadbury's waiting for advantage. Stringer gets away. Johnny O'Connor needs a bit of help, gets it from Shane Horgan, and Foley still there for Ireland. That was knocked backward. Malcolm O'Kelly set it up. Pumas coming barreling through, but the ball was out according to Tony Spreadbury. Stringer nearly lost his head. Johnny O'Connor lost the ball, and Ireland get the penalty.
They're becoming increasingly frustrated. The Argentinians giving no space and no time at all to get the ball away from those rucks. And it has to be said, Tony Spreadbury quite right, could have blown the penalty a couple of rucks before that. Argentina really lying in an offside position to close that down.
Paul O'Connell, good ball carry. Peter Stringer made the initial thrust, got past the first tackler. Good work by Johnny O'Connor. This time he got the pass away, and the ball was knocked backward in that situation, and that was well won on the ground by the Irish, and the result was a penalty for Ronan O'Gara, who really needs this one. "22 minutes since the last score, and that was Felipe Contepomi's penalty. Sounds good, looks good. 3 more points for Ronan O'Gara. Ireland 6, Argentina 13. The Irish still have some way to go.
They do. They're going to have to change their game plan as well. I don't think they can see any significant change in the way they're playing at the moment until Eddie O'Sullivan gets them in at half-time. But they're going to have to start taking on this Argentinian pack a little bit more directly, doing some of the hard work first, and then the space will come for the 3 quarters. At the moment, they're just trying to do far too much.
The weather is deteriorating by the second. Well taken by Malcolm O'Kelly from the restart kick. Argentina being told by the referee not to collapse. That's a good driving maul by the Irish. And maybe they were listening to what my co-commentator Philip Matthews was saying. This is good stuff by Ireland. Shane Byrne is in there. They mustn't detach the man in front to produce the truck and trailer situation. That's one of the best driving mauls we've seen by an Irish pack at Lansdowne Road in recent seasons. But it's all about getting the ball back. Now they've got it. O'Gara didn't quite get enough on that, and it was dragged down by the Pumas, and that's going to be a penalty to Ireland. Too far away for a kick at goal, I think, but it will give Ireland a huge amount of encouragement. Don't forget your text messages, please. 81771. We'd like to hear your thoughts for our studio panel as to how the Irish are playing, or indeed how the Pumas are playing. And Ronan O'Gara has been asked in the meantime by Brian O'Driscoll to get as close to the Argentinian try line as possible.
Well, that would have given the Irish pack a lot of confidence, and also would have shown them that that's exactly what they need to do. Whether that was called or whether it was impromptu or not, it's the thing they need to do. And maybe it's just the momentum they need to do to just get themselves moving again off this liner, because the same again is what they need. They need to get Argentina on the back foot as soon as they can.
Well, there was an excellent example of a driving maul. Tony Spreadbury had warned the Pumas not to drag it down, and eventually they did that, so the penalty was inevitable. That line is the Argentinian 22. This is Shane Byrne. That was Anthony Foley. Stringer. Now O'Gara. O'Driscoll lost his footing.
Leave it. Guard. Leave it. Guard.
Again, it's slow ball for Ireland when they need it quickly. And again, they've lost it. My goodness, how many is that in this first half alone that has been turned over?
Well, I just think that tactically that was the poor decision as well, to move that straight from the liner when it hasn't been working all evening. Thing to do there was just to take and drive, just go back to what they did a couple of moments ago, get Argentina on the back foot going backwards. But yet again they just went for the kill straight from the set piece, looking for space for O'Driscoll that's simply not there at the moment.
Shane Byrne's having to work harder and harder at drying this ball. Strong wind now blowing into the Irish faces. Well taken by O'Kelly. Well, the Lansdowne Road crowd have a precious little to cheer about. They're trying to get behind this Irish pack, who have been held. They're crabbing infield, but Ireland's still in possession. Now they move forward. Johnny O'Connor being hoisted up in the air, so he's completely ineffective. Stringer lost his footing again, and again Ireland have lost possession, and the ball has gone forward. Referee has waited for advantage, and it's going to be a Puma scrum back at that ruck situation. It's not going desperately well for the Irish at the moment.
No real coordination or communication. Argentina easily stopping that Irish momentum, if anything putting Ireland on the back foot themselves. And Peter Stringer finding it very, very difficult to deal with that ball. Yes, conditions are not the best, but I guess that's the difference. When you're going backwards, you're going to turn things over, aren't you?
Longo picks up. Stringer and Easterby tackle. Pichot with an armchair ride at scrum half. Felipe Contoponi. O'Connor slipping. One or two Irish players, I think, may have to look at their studs in the interval, because they're losing their footing all over the place. Pichot again. Ledesma picked up by O'Driscoll. Immense strength from the Irish skipper in that close quarter situation. Now Stringer. O'Gara. No gap there whatsoever, and Manuel Contoponi closed them down very easily.
Let it come back. Leave it, steady.
Stringer again. Jordan Murphy, cleverly done. O'Driscoll, there is a chance. That's forward. The poor pass, play on, says the referee. Good advantage. Great chance now for the Pumas to put Ireland away by half-time. Felipe Contoponi, wonderful covering tackle by Stringer. That went forward, and that really could have been calamitous for the Irish. Referee's waiting to see if there's any Irish advantage from this, and I don't think there's going to be. Well, Martin Hernandez just kicks it into touch. Well, that really could have been game, set and match.
Yes, and again, mistake, if you like, of the turnover coming from Brian O'Driscoll, looking for space that wasn't there. You can understand how, as captain, he's trying to do an awful lot, but he's taking a lot upon himself. The goal is turned over, and again, when you're attacking, you're so vulnerable to the counter-attack. Very, very difficult. Ireland really having to come back, claw back the yards to defend.
No ball, that's fine.
Well, they did have plenty of men back there. First Peter Stringer, and then Gervin Dempsey recovered, but it was heart-stopping stuff. Tony Spreadbury just saying to his touch judge in the far side, keep an eye on the binding.
Thank you, got that.
Quicker strike. Oh, that's a mess at the Irish scrum. Here comes Pichot. Cross goes Dempsey. And there's a penalty for a little bit of obstruction, a bit of jersey pulling, and it's gone against Ireland. And at this stage, what would Pichot do? Would he ask Contoponi to go for the post? Will they go for the 7-pointer?
Well, they certainly got the confidence to look for the 7-pointer if they need it.
Well, a bit of jersey pulling there, a little bit of obstruction perhaps on the ever busy Pichot. Stringer just holding him by the jersey. Yep, I think that was it. Tony Spreadbury waited for advantage to the Pumas. None came. Across came Gervin Dempsey to secure the ball for what looked as if it might be a 5-metre scrum, but it's turned into a penalty, and this could restore the 10-point lead for the Pumas if Felipe Contepomi can put this one over. It has been a difficult first half for the Irish. A lot of it has been of their own making. A lot of unforced errors, too many turnovers, I think, will be one of the things that will be written down in the Eddie O'Sullivan notebook for discussion. Right side of the field for around the corner, right-footed kicker, and the wind is with him. Good kick, not greeted with great aplomb by the Irish crowd. So there we are at half-time. It has not been a distinguished first half for the Irish, and they trail the Pumas by 16 points to 6. Well, thanks, Stephen. I don't want to rub salt into the Irish wounds, but it's actually 16 points to 6 in favour of the Pumas. And one wonders what Eddie O'Sullivan said to Brian O'Driscoll and the rest of the men in green in that all too brief interval. There's a look of serious concentration in some of those Irish faces, and I think concentration could well be what was lacking in that first half, allied to the fact that they're playing against a very good side, whom, as Eddie O'Sullivan during the week, Philip admitted, are certainly worthy of joining the other Southern Hemisphere players in forming a four nations as opposed to a tri-nations.
Well, that's right, and I guess you could say at the moment that any of the world's top 8 teams could beat anybody else on their day, and certainly Argentina well capable, as they've shown last week against France, well capable of beating anybody on their day. But Ireland, I guess, need to, hopefully what Eddie O'Sullivan was saying, need to up the intensity, take this Argentinian forward pack on as they did with just glimpses of it in the first half, and then start to look to move the ball wide. But if they persist with the game plan that they brought into the first half, I think it's going to be a tired enough afternoon. I just can't see them getting past this Argentina side unless they change our tactics radically.
So Tony Spreadbury has a little word with Brian O'Driscoll, I suspect discussing some finer points of law. Ronan O'Gara to restart this game with a penalty and a drop goal so far to take his individual total up to 450. Rapidly closing on David Humphreys, 511. So away we go for the second half. Ireland, not maybe with the proverbial mountain to climb, but a fair old bit to do. That's a long restart kick. Paul O'Connell, the man who challenged Martin Durant, the Pumas flank forward, who received it. And again, the Pumas looking so solid in everything they're doing. They're well organised. They're a hugely professional outfit. Now that hasn't found touch. Anthony Foley, Jordan Murphy. Let me put a little bit of backspin in that. I think that's going to be dotted down for... Oh, it's going to go all the way back. So that was just unfortunate by Jordan Murphy. A little bit too much in that. He needed a bit of backspin, which, given the dynamics of a rugby ball and the laws of physics, didn't actually happen. He's not too pleased with himself. And Ireland have conceded the opening bit of possession in this first half to the Pumas.
Well, he's had precious little time to work himself into this game, precious little opportunity, and a couple of little kicks where the opportunities he's had to kick the ball have gone just a little bit too far, so he's probably kind of frustrated with himself as well that he hasn't been able to feature as much into this game. Touch judge on the far side, on the old East Stand side, Joel Hughes is just whispering something into his microphone for the attention of Tony Spreadbury regarding the scrummage. This is Pichot. That's gone into touch on the full, so a rare error from this delightful little fellow. Played against Ireland in 2 successive World Cups, won one and lost one. It was very close last time out. Well, Ireland shortening the line, so they're not really going to take on this Argentinian pack from the line. It looks like they're going to try and use Foley up the middle, coming in off Shane Horgan. Well, they've done the first bit. They've got the ball. O'Gara, spot on. Philip Matthews. Foley makes good ground. That's quicker ball. Stringer, Paul O'Connell. Got past the first tackle. Ireland trying to do a little bit of softening up. Here's O'Driscoll, lovely offload. Murphy, nicely done. Gervin Dempsey. In fact, it was Dennis Hickey, nearly lost his head on that. Stringer, now O'Gara. Shane Horgan trying to put a bit of width on it. Good strength by this 6'4" Leinster centre. He spilled it in the tackle. Tony Spreadbury spotted it. Bit more like it from the Irish. It was, but it was a great tackling by Argentina again, just ripping the ball out in the tackle. That was a planned move. They left Paul O'Connell prior to that on the open side from that line out, which enabled them just to take on this Argentinian midfield was with their big forwards running at them, and Jordan Murphy just stopped short of the line, very nearly 5 points for Ireland.
More than a hint of a high tackle on Dennis Hickey, I've got to say. Good Pumas scrummage.
Stand up.
Well, and going back to days immemorial, a lot of people still feel, and most of them grizzled old characters feel, that the game starts and ends here. Good solid Pumas scrum on their own put in. The scrum has come up, Stringer with a tackle. Easterby in there as well. And I think the attention of the referee was drawn to Johnny O'Connor not binding properly by the touch judge on the far side, and that's a penalty to Argentina.
That's not really what Eddie O'Sullivan would have been talking about at half-time, is it? They really need to keep the discipline and make sure they're not giving up hard-won yards and hard-won territory cheaply.
Condaponi hasn't made much in the way of ground, but it's going to be a Pumas line-out. And I doubt if they'll do anything spectacular. I don't think they'll actually try to stretch the ball across the back line so far. Ledesma. Longo up above everyone. Again, good control by the Pumas. Pichot, Condaponi. That hasn't fun touch. Dempsey. Murphy. Pumas up quickly. Murphy a little bit isolated. Stringer nicely done. O'Gara needs that bounce to be kind. Condaponi receives the pass. And that hasn't found touch either. O'Driscoll, the Irish skipper. Oh, lovely offload to O'Gara. Referee is still playing on. That's good work by the nuggety little Peter Stringer. Still there for Ireland. O'Driscoll is in. Condaponi almost got a hand to it. Stringer has a little cut himself. Horgan piles in like a flank forward. That's going to be a penalty.
But again, Argentina nearly turning that over at that time from an offside position. Thankfully for Ireland, this is the return by Brian O'Driscoll. Steps out of just about one.
I'll have a look. I'll have a look. In the win, with the win. I'll have a look.
Good refereeing by Tony Spreadbury right on the spot. The ball had gone backward.
I'll do it.
And Ronan O'Gara, I think, has been instructed by Brian O'Driscoll, or maybe it was his decision to go for the posts. Right decision at this stage of the game?
Well, there's plenty of time. 16-9 is a much better scoreline to go back to. What Ireland really need to do is to be patient and not start to try and force things too quickly. They need to make sure that each visit into the Argentinian half, they come away with something, if only 3 points. But they do have the elements behind him. Ronan O'Gara lines this up. He has got a little breeze just to the back, which will make things a little bit easier.
Well, it's just about the same position from which Felipe Condaponi kicked an injury time penalty at the end of the first half. He's got underneath that, but he's put it between the posts. So 9 points for Ronan O'Gara, 9 points for Ireland. We play just over 6 minutes in the second half, and the gap is closed to a converted try. Ireland 9 and the Pumas 16. And O'Gara gave that plenty of height, but more importantly, his accuracy was spot on. Condaponi, that's hung up in the breeze. O'Kelly couldn't hold. That's a bad reception of the restart kick. Johnny O'Connor takes it forward, but it was knocked on by an Irish hand, and that's given the advantage straight back to the Pumas.
It has. I was just going to say that the most important thing now are the restarts, and it looked the way that ball was hanging that Anthony Foley was going to come in for it. Clearly his ball. He didn't call for it, and Malcolm O'Kelly was kind of a little bit stretched to take it and wasn't able to win it.
Good Pumas scrum, Longo controlling. Great work by the tight five, Felipe Condaponi. Almost lost the footing, but look at the way they've got in behind him. Both centres really driving in. Referees awarded the penalty for an Irish infringement. And having got the 3 points, Ireland in danger of conceding at least 3 at this stage. Johnny O'Connor penalised.
Now that's Johnny O'Connor again. really need to get himself back into an onside position. That's a second 3-point opportunity within a short space as well.
Number 7.
Certainly the second penalty's given away in this second half. That's disappointing, all from the restart. So important, particularly after scores, that both sides, from their own perspective, retain possession quickly and start to win the territory back again. But if you don't win the ball cleanly, you end up the back foot and you're giving away a penalty.
On to Tommy yet again. And yet again between the posts. So 10 points between them.
Please. Captain, please, one for you, please. Captain.
And a lot of happy Pumas supporters. Now that was a good kick by Conte Tommy. Interestingly, Tony Spreadbury is calling the two captains over. Let's see if we can
Wait a minute, please.
just eavesdrop on what he's going to say to them. Agustin Pichot and Brian O'Driscoll coming over.
It's not easy. Okay, for both sides, but please now, lads. All right, we're doing penalties way, both sides in defence. Okay, both sides.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the card, but now lines in the sand. All right, we'll use it. Okay, please.
That's good refereeing by Tony Spreadbury, telling the both captains that he doesn't want to particularly use the card, but he's now drawn a line in the sand in terms of infringing at the breakdown. Knocked back by the Pumas. Ireland, if they could win this, might set something up, but they haven't. Pichot, Conte Tommy. And that's going to be an Irish line out. So Ireland have got to respond pretty quickly. They're once again 10 points adrift.
Yes, 10 points adrift and really starting to have to chase this game now, which clearly again they're going to do from a shortened line out. Lining up with Johnny O'Connor and Anthony Foley in the midfield, ready to just take that ball up again.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Eric Miller coming on soon. Brian O'Driscoll, no way through there, but he's made the ball available. Had to stand up and take the full force of two Pumas tacklers. Reggie Corrigan, somewhat isolated, does well. Stringer, quicker ball for Ireland. O'Gara, again going for position, not kicking desperately well. Hernan Seniosa. And that may well have gone straight into touch, and it has. That's going to be an Irish line out, so it's worked out not too badly for Ireland. It's Manuel Conte Tommy.
And it's an area in the park with the Irish 7, so to speak, in the line. They might just fancy their chances at taking on this Argentinian 8.
6.
But everybody in the line so far.
Well, Tony Spreadbury telling the Argentinians they have an extra man in there, and they've now withdrawn him. Well taken by O'Connor from an initial overthrow. That's good piece of driving forward play by the Irish. Stringer, now O'Gara, defence is so flat. Here comes Dempsey. Good angle, good defence. Still there for the Irish. Nicely done, Hickey. Well, he was off balance and he did well to make the ball available. O'Driscoll has a dash himself. O'Driscoll's through. Great covering tackle. Desperate stuff by Ireland, and away come the Pumas, and that looked so much like it could have been an Irish try, and all Johnny O'Connor could do is shepherd the ball into touch. Well, how close was that?
Well, it was very close. Stringer gets that ball away well. This time O'Driscoll does reckon there is some space. He's got to get a couple of forwards. You'd have fancied his chances there, but unfortunately Pichot does a very, very cover ploy. He covers Shane Horgan, which prevents Brian O'Driscoll getting the pass away to him. He has to hold on, just out of shot. Pichot covering Horgan. Horgan again maybe a little bit flat. If the run had been a little bit later, he might have been in.
So close to a steal by Paul O'Connell on the Pumas throw-in. That would have been the first throw against the head, so to speak. Pick up and drive was by Rimas Alvarez. And trying to force a rare turnover, but the Pumas' control at the breakdown has been quite superb. Ireland have pushed the midfield. Malcolm O'Kelly doing the tackling. O'Connor there too. Pichot. Conte Tommy with loads of space. Good positional play by Dempsey. Now Jordan Murphy. Wee bit misdirected. And if that goes over the dead ball line, it's going to be a scrummage again. And that's the second time it's happened.
Well, he's consistently do that. Whatever way he's striking that ball, he's really not He's expecting the ball to just spin and curl towards that corner, and it's just fading away and rolling on out. Gervin Dempsey playing more on the wing at the moment, and I guess Eddie O'Sullivan trying to get Murphy in from fullback, and the two of them kind of switching about left and right. In defensive situations, it looks like Murphy's playing on the wing, and in attacking situations, they're looking like they're trying to get him into attack from fullback. So if he can't get him on fullback with number 15 on the back, he's going to certainly try and get him into those positions during the game.
Back off with my voice. Don't go too early. That's crouch and hold, engage.
Crouch, hold, engaged. Penalty against Ireland. This could cost them. And this game, well, we've still got about 25 minutes or so to go, but another 3 points here for Argentina would make this Irish task well nigh impossible. Into a stiffish breeze, and Condaponi deciding that he's not going to go for the post, and this is a confident decision by the Pumas.
It is, and so it should be, because their liner has functioned very well. They love their rolling maul. They really haven't had a chance to use it so far. They've been trying to set it up, and their front row of Roncero, Ledesma and Hassan work things very, very well off ball like this. Not getting an opportunity this time.
P-shot swallowed up by Shane Byrne, but the little fellow has made the ball available. Bit of nonsense between Stringer and Rodrigo Ronchero, like a bantamweight against a heavyweight. Foley in the way. Durand, good tackle by Paul O'Connell. He's put the body about. Well laid back by Ronchero. Great close quarter work by the Pumas. They're masterful at this. And Ireland still trying to hang on to them desperately. Fist, I think, went in there. Touch judge hasn't bothered calling that. Well set up by the Pumas. Condaponi. That's a nasty high hanging kick. Ireland need to make it secure, and they have done. Well, that's a wild kick from O'Driscoll, but he's got away with it. Good offload to Johnny O'Connor. Needs a bit of help. Hugely important that Ireland keep possession at this stage. Stringer, O'Gara. That's better.
Yes, he needs to fight. He needs to get some territorial advantage. Ireland spending far too much time in their own half on that occasion. They're not going to win this game from their own half. They really need to try and turn the screw and keep Argentina pinned in their own 22. Then the points will come.
It's going to be a line out to the Pumas, and it's functioned pretty well. Ireland have not really been able to disrupt so far this afternoon in this area. O'Connor at the back opposite him. Martin Durand plays his club rugby with Montpellier in France. A man from Castres. Bit of shoving there. Knocked backward though by the Pumas. Well, they've made that nice and secure, and they deliver to Agustin Pichon whenever they're ready or whenever he's ready, but they decided to take it on. Durand once again, who's had a great afternoon. Ledesma, old-fashioned forearm smash into O'Gara. Pick and drive by the Pumas. T-shot. Condaponi, he had 5 men outside him. Hickey.
Stay back.
Now that could be dangerous. Juan Martin Hernandez. And what a pity for him. What a plus for Ireland that he knocked that forward. He hasn't been doing that much this afternoon. Played in 3 out of 4 games in the World Cup last year. Dennis Hickey's rather speculative kick landed straight into his arms, and that could have been difficult because he had support on his outside, and Ireland could have been in trouble there.
Get it in. That's fine. Please put it in. Please put it in. That's the front one. That one was. He knows that.
Tony Spreadbury claims the scrum was steady and Stringer didn't put it in. That's better. Oh, hasn't gone in.
Free kick. You showed it. Give him the ball.
And Stringer has been freed. Here come the Pumas. Gonzalo Longo. P-shot. Condaponi. Clever little kick. Not clever enough. Murphy. That's well done. O'Gara. There are men there. And again, that's come off the outside of his foot. Back goes Condaponi. Hernandez is with him. Back on the Irish side eventually, Hickey. Longo with the tackle. Good work by the Irish wing three-quarter. Stringer. Byrne almost got in the way. Little switch kick by O'Gara, and Argentina have come in the wrong side.
No, really, Ireland failing to get a degree of dominance still on this match, and the Argentina front row really starting to upset this Irish front row, particularly Roncero giving the much taller John Hayes a rough enough time in that last scrum, which resulted in a penalty. And if Ireland can't secure their set-piece ball, from which they expect so much in terms of attack, they're going to really find it very difficult to get back on level terms with Argentina.
Peter Stringer and Tony Spreadbury just having a chat about how long Stringer is allowed to wait before he puts the ball in, which caused the free, but as it turns out, Ireland have got this penalty. It's the longest one that O'Gara has attempted so far, but it's such a vital one. That's pretty good. That's a terrific kick by Ronan O'Gara. So the gap is back to a converted try, and all of Ireland will be hoping that that gap will be closed even more and eventually overhauled. There's still a fair old bit to do. We've got just over a quarter of this game remaining, and that's as good a kick as O'Gara has struck in recent years here at dear old Lansdowne Road. And it's now Ireland 12 and Argentina 19, and we're just about midway through this second half. Contepomi, can Ireland receive this kick-off better than the last time? The answer is yes, from Shane Byrne. Much better control. Oh, a sweet kick from O'Gara.
Well, that was, because that's brought it right down to the Argentina 22. I can't see how he would get any more out of that ball. That was inch perfect. Looked like if he was going to give away the line-out, he really had to put it back down into this Argentina 22, because you don't want to give them a line-out in your own half. But he's turned the screw again, and now it's advantage Ireland again, despite the fact that it's an Argentina line-out.
Well, at last the crowd getting behind the Irish side. It's a Pumas line-out. Mario Ledesma playing against Ireland for the third time. Terrific kick by Bocetti. And again, good control from the set piece from the Pumas. Ireland trying to hold them up. Good grappling and mauling and tugging by the Pumas in there. Easterby and Foley. And O'Connell digging in. Ireland may well have come in from the side. Tony Spreadbury's been pretty hot on that this afternoon.
Yes, he said that he doesn't want to make this a stop-start game. He doesn't want to dominate it himself, but he's been pretty hot on a few things, particularly rucks and mauls, players coming in from the side.
That call was down to the touch judge, Giulio De Santis from Italy. Contepomi, still debatable whether or not he'll be available for the province of Leinster for their Heineken Cup game and this very ground, Lansdowne Road against Bourgoin next week, because of Argentinian commitments. That's nearly overthrown, well taken in though by Argentina. Good driving play once again by the Pumas.
Away, leave it, stay back, Green. Stay, Green.
Stelia gets out of it, tee shot. Hassan sets it up.
That's fine. Leave it 6.
Well, they're perfectly happy to play this sort of a game, the Pumas. Huge upper body strength, every single one of them, especially the tight five.
The ball's there.
Ireland tried to effect a rare turnover. This is good driving play once again by the Pumas. There's a three-quarter in the middle of all that. I think it's the wing Hernandez Seniosa. Now the Pumas have it. Contepomi to the try scorer, Adam Buru. Tee shot again. Durant, his men with him. Gets past the first tackle. Easterby pulls down Seniosa.
Waiting there.
Bit of a scrap going on in the middle of the park, and Brian O'Driscoll was involved in it. Penalty against Argentina. Ireland will be pleased with that. Foley's incensed by something he's seen. Mario Ledesma getting involved, and this is just starting to bubble over a little bit. John Hayes goes in to put in his tuppence worth. No touch judges flag out at this stage, but Julio Dos Santos has come onto the field.
On your guard. Now get away. Go away. Right, that's fine.
Well, this is getting more and more tense. And of course, there is a fair old bit of history in modern times between these two sides. They've played against each other just as often as Ireland have played against some of their Six Nations opponents.
Keep calm, free.
Yes, and the way Argentina are playing this game at the moment, they're trying to set up whatever opportunity they can to set up that rolling maul, and they do it so effectively. Rather than trying to take Ireland on directly, they're rolling and spinning and changing the point of attack all the time, which makes it very, very difficult to defend against.
Well taken by O'Kelly. Stringer. O'Gara had to stretch for that. No option but to kick, and he's kicked cleverly.
Yeah, so he's made much better use of the kick this half. He's got a little bit of a breeze behind him, but it's a lot more simple. His kicks have been spot on, and he's keeping Ireland in this game, keeping the territory. They can't play this game from their own 22.
Well, the problem is disrupting the Pumas at the set piece, and they've never really been able to do that with any degree of effect so far.
Right, 2 and a scrum half. There.
Malcolm O'Kelly's gone to scrum half for the Irish. Taken quickly, Longo at the front, cleverly done by Ledesma.
Away. Stay back foot.
And again, it's set up.
Ball's gone. Stay.
Well covered by Jordan Murphy. But the rest of the side had to come back to him. That is a huge kick by Murphy. Conte spills it.
I made a mistake for free kick.
Yeah, well, Tony Spradley did make a mistake. He'd kind of called for the mark in anticipation, but there was no mark called. The ball wasn't secured. It's unfortunate. Lucky for Philippe Conte though.
Well, the only thing is he's kicking into a bit of a breeze, and Ireland will get the throw into the line-out because it's not a penalty. That was a mistake by Tony Spradley, and should a scrum not have been awarded there?
Well, I guess he felt he'd blown the whistle and he'd awarded the mark beforehand, so he couldn't really reverse that. It would Argentina then could have claimed that it was an unfair advantage to Ireland.
And made a mistake. Bless his little socks. Yep. And I think Eric Miller is coming on for Johnny O'Connor. And this will add a little bit of muscle. Johnny O'Connor may have a slight edge in pace, but Eric Miller has got loads and loads of experience. Played so well against the USA, coming on to win his 42nd international cap. We have just about 15 minutes remaining by my reckoning. Here's O'Driscoll, almost through. Good support from Eric Miller straight away. One Leinster man helping another. Stringer, bit of a fumble. O'Gara. Ireland lucky to get away with that. Reggie Corrigan, the regular Leinster captain, has to set this up. O'Kelly scrabbles it back. It's all very slow though. Murphy, that's nicely done. Miller took his eye off the ball, but Ireland have the penalty, and it's very kickable. And this, if converted, would close the gap to the point where Ireland just need to try to win this game, or certainly take the lead. Well taken by Murphy. The pass wasn't a bad one. Miller was just Puma watching for a second or two there.
Yeah, so maybe just a little bit flat and overrunning things. Ireland had a tendency in the first half to do that a little bit as well. Just a sign of over-anxiousness. It has been a very nervy, non-confident performance, which is surprising, because if anything you'd have thought that maybe overconfidence was the problem here, but that can very, 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 very quickly turn to a lack of confidence when things don't start going right for you. You stop doing the things that have won you those games in the past.
Bit of an injury to Simon Easterby. Ireland having made their back row replacement. Miller coming on for O'Connor, but once again it's O'Gara. Lovely solid thwack, and O'Gara puts it between the posts. So 15 points for Ronan O'Gara, 15 points for Ireland. The gap has closed from 10 points to just 4 points, and O'Gara has kicked Ireland back into a reasonably healthy position. It's been O'Gara all the way. He's got all 15 this afternoon, 4 penalty goals and a drop goal, and it's such an important restart reception this for Ireland. They've got to hold the ball in. and not allow the Pumas to regain possession, and that's exactly what's happened. Back goes Hassan, scrambled into touch, knocked forward by Ireland though, and the Pumas will get the put in.
Yeah, so important that Ireland were going to retain that ball. They didn't. The last restart they were able to retain possession and get back into the Argentina 22. This time ball just a little bit long for Malcolm O'Kelly.
Stay.
Good solid Puma scrum.
Away.
Longo will keep it there for a while.
Go again. Don't wind it. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. That's it. Go again. Don't wind it. Give him a shoulder. Give him a shoulder.
It's good refereeing by Tony Spreadbury. He's asking him to do that again and making sure there was no afters going on in the front row. Good quick scrummage by the Pumas. Longo dragged down well by Eric Miller. The Longo's made it available. T-shot. Ledesma. Big hit by Simon Easterby. T-shot again. Quick ball by the Pumas. Contepomi tried to drift it wide to Sinioza. Still there. Contepomi again. Stringer's in the middle of all that, so Ireland minus a scrum half, but the Pumas have the ball. Shane Byrne hurtles in, and again the Pumas' control is pretty useful at this situation. T-shot. Longo, in fact it's Rimas Alvarez, the second row forward. Durand into Foley and Miller. Good tackle yet again by Miller. He's really put himself about since he's come on. Different player entirely. There was a bit of stamping there on Paul O'Connell. Well set up by the Pumas. Durant has that pulled in. T-shot. Contepomi. Well, that's a clever kick to the far side.
Yeah, that was interesting with just Dennis Hickey out there and both Borges and Hernandez waiting outside, a 2-on-1 if that ball could have gone to hand. Contepomi spotted that. Both Borges and Hernandez just waiting for a favourable bounce, but it's kicked into touch. Ireland's line it just inside their own 22.
Coming up to just about the final 10 minutes of this game. Ireland 4 points adrift, having been 10 points adrift at one stage. That's a bad line-out ball, well done by Malcolm O'Kelly, but it's on the ground. Stringer gets it away, just charged on. Initial knock forwards by the Pumas, and Ireland will get the scrum, and they are making heavy weather of a lot of these set pieces.
They are, but unfortunately, as you said, Jim, from the restart they're really not able to secure the ball and give them the option of playing the game back in Argentina's territory. They're failing to deal with those restarts consistently, and Argentina get the advantage every time.
Foley drives, he's on his own. Miller's there to help. Now Stringer. O'Gara. It's not a great kick. Lucas Borges. Little slight fellow gets half past Malcolm O'Kelly. Ireland mustn't infringe here. T-shot very quickly in there. Contepomi. This is good stuff. Sinioza. Manuel Contepomi, the larger of the two. Hernandez goes into scrum half. It's well won by the Pumas. Hanging on. Still plenty of time, and all O'Gara needs to do, I think, is just push this into the Argentinian corner if he can. Yes,
and Ireland will feel fortunate to have got away from that period of pressure by Argentina, not giving up any more points. Even 3 points at this stage would have just kept that little buffer that Argentina are looking for. Just they've got to keep it within the 4-point margin if they can, give them the opportunity of a try to win the game.
Change of football, I think. The one that they've been playing with seemed to have lost a little bit of pressure. O'Gara's put a fair bit of pressure now on the Pumas with that fine kick into the corner. He says one or two little wayward ones, but in general O'Gara has done what he does best, and Shane Byrne has got to do what he does best, and that's find his jumper. So under 10 minutes remaining, Ireland need a try to take the lead for the first time in this game. They've never been ahead, remember. Byrne just taking his time. That's awful, but there's a little bit of interference there, and that's going to be a penalty. And is the card being reached for? Somebody's going.
Yeah, well, It's probably the first time for that particular offence, but Tony Spreadbury had warned both captains earlier on, and that was pretty much a general warning. It wasn't for any more delaying the ball coming out of ruck and maul. It's for the next cynical penalty, you could say, and that was the next opportunity. That could have saved a certain 5-pointer from an Argentina perspective, but gives Ronan O'Gara a 3-point opportunity, which will bring within 1.
So into the bin, and I don't think we'll see Gonzalo Longo back on this pitch, because he'll have to sit out the 10 minutes. And this is a hugely important kick for Ireland and for Ronan O'Gara. Lovely. From the moment he hit that, you knew it was going to go between the posts, and the gap, having been 10 points at one stage, is now 1 point. And do Ireland have the capabilities and the concentration and the composure to snatch victory when an altogether slipshod performance in the main looked as if it wasn't going to go their way?
Well, a lot of it's going to depend on this restart, as we said before.
Well taken by Shane Horgan. Paul O'Connell helped him. Stringer, O'Gara. Bit on the scruffy side. A bit of footy from Hernan Senioza. That might go into touch on the full, and it has.
Well, it wasn't a great kick from Ronan O'Gara by his standards, but Argentina have made the mistake this time and handed Ireland the territorial advantage they so need.
Well, Ireland would take another penalty. They don't really care how they win this game to make it 3 out of 3 in this autumn series. Better, Stringer, O'Gara, Shane Horgan has a bit of a charge himself into Ledesma. All a little bit telegraphed. Stringer, O'Driscoll. Perfect weight on that by Ireland's skipper, but it's going to be a Pumas line-out. And they've got to start pressurising the Pumas out of touch.
Yes, well, O'Driscoll would have felt that all he needs to do is get the ball down there. Even if Argentina win the line-out, he'll be hoping that Contepomi will find a touch and they'll get an attacking line-out. A bonus would be to steal one with the first time today.
Pumas have shortened it. They varied this line-out very cleverly and have kept Ireland guessing. They don't have the option of Gonzalo Longo, who's in the bin. Maybe they don't need him. They don't.
Leave it. Stay there then. Stay there.
Ireland will put pressure on the kicker, and they have done.
Wait, lads.
That's a very good kick from no angle whatsoever. That was a terrific clearance kick by Felipe Contepomi.
But it was, because you can just see the touch judge's flag there into the wind. That was for Contepomi right into the wind. Ireland have to start all over again from the halfway line.
Thank you.
That's a good start. Stringer, O'Gara, Horgan on the charge. The Pumas have pulled Ledesma out to counter him. This is a quicker ball by Ireland. Now O'Driscoll has a pop himself. Tried to offload it, or thought about offloading it. Great strength from the Irish skipper. Stringer, now O'Gara, Horgan, nicely done. Good work by O'Connell, he's got to give it. Nicely done, here comes Hickey at pace. Still there for Hickey. Needs a little bit of help now, they have it. Stringer, O'Connell, nobody really with him on that narrow side. Good pressure now by Ireland at the death. Stringer has a wee pop. Spilled it.
Oh, not maybe one of the stronger parts of Peter Stringer game, just not failing to hold on to that ball against Augusta Pichot, who managed to slip it away from the tackle. It was a great break initially by Dennis Hickey, turning and weaving. Maybe a little bit isolated, but Stringer sees the gap, pops the ball to Paul O'Connell, who's involved again for the second time in that movement, taking on 2 or 3 Argentinian defenders. Ball comes back pretty quick. Again, it's just knocked out of his hand by Borges just at the last minute. That's unfortunate.
And the Pumas have a man down injured. 81771. Remember your text messages, please. Just about 4 minutes remaining Ireland trailing by a single point. I remember way back in Freddie Mendez's debut back in 1990 when Ireland just scraped home and no more in the very last minute with a penalty. I remember the Pumas down to only 7 forwards, 14 men. The number 8 Gonzalo Longo was in the bin. Ireland will be looking to put some pressure on the 7-man Puma scrum.
You know what they don't want to do here is give away a penalty. Ireland are going to have to stay on the right side of legal.
Well, that's a great Puma scrum, 7 men against 8, and the 7 men have not only won it and secured it, but have made some territory. Contepomi, Stringer on top of him. And again, from the narrowest of angles, Contepomi has produced a wondrous kick.
Yes, when you think he can't get his game with Leinster, there's that 7-man scrum again. Peter Stringer putting all the pressure on, but
no penalties.
Just not able to get close enough to force Contepomi to put it high and into a short touch. That's a fine touch again.
O'Gara, miss move. Eric Miller at pace. Great first up Puma tackling. Dennis Hickey has a cut. Looking for work, Hickey. A Stringer, that's a good change of angle. O'Connell's there. John Hayes and Reggie Corrigan, the 2 Irish props, so there was no real pace on the left.
No penalties, no penalties. Leave it. Leave it.
Stringer, Shane Horgan, Dennis Hickey again. Duran with the tackle. Ostiglia with an even better tackle. Still there for Ireland. O'Gara. Well, was that the right option? The kick doesn't look too bad. Oh, how unfortunate for Ireland.
Well, unfortunately, Ireland going backwards from that movement. Yeah. O'Gara felt he had no other option but to try and claw back a bit of territory.
Time on.
Just bounced the wrong side of the flag, though.
Well, Tony Stredry, the referee, has called for a little bit of time out there. There's an injury to an Argentinian player. Just 1 point between them. It's the man winning his 35th cap today, Martin Durant. In fact, I beg your pardon, it's Lucas Ostiglia, the 28-year-old, plays for Padova in Italy.
Thank you.
It's going to be an Argentinian scrum, and this is just going to give them, well, it's not going to help them in terms of time, but it's going to give them just a little breather in terms of getting themselves composed and getting themselves ready. And Ireland can't play without the ball.
Yes, fine, go on.
Argentina have brought a centre, Manuel Contepomi, into play on the side of the scrum. That's Felipe Contepomi, hasn't found his touch. Well covered by Jordan Murphy. Dennis Hickey.
No.
Only really late in the game that we've seen anything of Dennis Hickey. O'Gara. No option but to kick, and that's a monster. Oh, Lansdowne Road hoping for a kind bounce. That hasn't happened. All the way back was Hernan Seniosa. That's going to be an Irish line-out.
No, that'll do. Just pop that into the corner, force Argentina to make the kick, give us the line-out. Line-out just in between the 22 and the 10-yard line. Good spot, but the ball needs to be won cleanly.
Well, a very anxious Irish faces. That was a wonderful kick from the hand by Ronan O'Gara. Eric Miller's come out of the Irish line-out. Good take. Stringer, O'Gara, it's all a bit flat. Shane Horgan, no way through for him. Miller in attendance. Manuel Contepomi. Stringer, O'Gara with a drop at goal. Has it got the legs? Oh, you beauty, Ronan O'Gara. What a wonderful finish by O'Gara. It wasn't the sweetest kick he's ever struck, and it looked for all the world that it might just drop underneath the post, but it kept going. Absolutely wonderful. It's like the slowest pint of Guinness ever pulled. It went and it went and it went, and O'Gara has put Ireland ahead for the first time into the final minute of this game, and Paul O'Connell plucks it out of the air. Stringer. Good kick by O'Gara. 21 points for Ronan O'Gara.
Well, you're reminded of Wales a couple of years ago when, in exactly the same fashion, Ronan O'Gara pulled the game out of the bag with virtually his first touch of the ball. This mightn't be his last touch of the ball, but may well be his last scoring touch. And all of a sudden, there's a spring about this Irish side. That ball from the restart was won with confidence. For probably the first time in the game.
So what do the Pumas do now? Time is not on their side, and unbelievably, perhaps from their point of view, having played so well, they find themselves behind. Well taken to the back. Remember, only 7 Pumas forwards on the field. Pichot, onto Pomey, no option, has a pop himself, gets past Foley, well taken by O'Gara. What Ireland don't want to do is concede a penalty inside their own half. Ledesma, who's battled away mightily all afternoon. T-shot. There's the try scorer, Adam Boudou. Good stuff by Ireland. It's all over. Ireland have just made it and no more. Well, this has to be one of the steals of all time. A much better second half performance by Ireland after an error-strewn first half, and I think the word in everybody's lips is going to be relief.
Relief, and it has to be said, pretty well all points down to Ronan O'Gara. Ronan O'Gara didn't have his best day with ball in hand. Ireland struggled, sputtered and puttered their way through this game, and at the end of the day it was a pure moment of confidence and individual brilliance by Ronan O'Gara, who has struck the ball from the ground superbly all day.
5 penalty goals and 2 drop goals, one of them in the very last minute. Ronan O'Gara